Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com and we're back with another edition of the Grinding TonyBet series, which is our most epic video series of all time. There's going to be 24 parts in total. As always, we're just going to sit down at the tables which are open. We are not going to table select. We are just going to play, and hope for the best. And just, talk about all the hands as and when they happen, analysing our opponents and discussing which lines are good and which lines are bad. I have sat down at 3 available tables, 50NL, 25NL, and 10NL. And I am also on the waiting list for a lot of other stakes as well, from 5NL all the way to 100NL. And we're also going to try and game start in this bottom left table. Sadly, it looks like the 50NL game is about to break, but that's okay. We will play a bit of heads up on there. We did this in a previous video, and it does get the game started, and we can always swap it out when needs be. 8-10 off here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and call, and I'm always going to be calling a 3-bet in position with Jack 9 of spades. He checks. I think we can just go ahead and bet. Interesting here on the top right table, 25NL. He's gone ahead and 4x'd it. So I don't think I'm going to opt to fold that time and then just try and find out what happens with him in the future. I've noticed he's on the 50NL table, so it is a bit interesting that if he is a weaker player, why is he on the 50NL table? And also, if I'm playing a weak player on the 50NL table, then let's make some money from him. Interesting spot here. He 3-bet and check called flop. I think he's going to have a lot of hands like queens and tens, which might go ahead and fold. Or if they call, at least we build a pot for when we hopefully hit our flush draw on the river. But yeah, I think he's going to fold a lot of his ace highs and worse pairs. And if he does continue to call, then at least, when we hit a spade, we can barrel, or we can maybe barrel a river. So, interesting, we have never really done this. We've never played, like, heads up at a stake this high. So, it should be quite interesting for the video. What I'm trying to do with this video is really show you everything. I want to show you how to approach sites like this where maybe the traffic isn't super high. I want to show you, all the different games, when you have to start games, where you have to stay in games, where you bum hunt, all of that good stuff. And I think this is just a real everyday poker player's grind. 7-8 here. Really happy that he's check raising me. I assume he's going to have a lot of draws and a lot of bluffs, so I'm just going to go ahead and call. And basically just see what he does on the river. Probably just go ahead and flat call. If he bets, which he has. Pretty interesting here. 8-10 gets there, but we block that. He can obviously have a better 7, so I think I'm just best to flat call here. Basically, if he has like ace-9 or ace-10, then ace-9 or ace-jack, then he might go ahead and stack to us if we jam, thinking that we had a missed flush draw. But my hand is just not strong enough, so I'm just gonna call and pick off a bluff, hopefully. And we actually had the same hand. I thought I was going to win that hand. Going to go ahead and get rid of this 25NL table and pull in a 5NL because the waiting list has just popped up. Auto rebuy is on. Jack 3 is a fold. 7s here is a very easy call. I could have bet flop, but I think checking is also fine. Just let him go ahead and bet. I'm going to go ahead and peel the min raise with my 7-5 off and check the river with my 7s and win versus ace high. Not really many hands we could get value from there. Notice he just quarter pot there when I held the 7-5, so that's pretty interesting. Queen 4 is going to be a fold, Jack 5 is going to be a fold. So yeah, this is essentially how I play poker. This is how I approach the games, these are the sites I play on, and this is what I think. So I really hope it helps everyone, and please leave some comments, reviews, and questions, of course. Ben Omaha has just joined the game. Few dynamics with him. There was a hand where I 4-bet ace-2 suited under the gun in the previous video, which you can find in the coaching video section. I'll also try and link it into the description here as well. I 4-bet ace-2 suited under the gun. He called. It came 5-5-7, 2 hearts. I bet he called. Turn was the 8 of hearts. I bet he called. Oh, no, sorry, 5-5-7, 1 heart. bet call. Turn was the 8 of hearts, bet call. River was the ace of hearts, and I checked to induce, thinking that he was playing very aggressive, very splashy, very, all over the place. So I thought, a really good spot to induce, make him turn, smaller pairs into bluffs, or make him turn some floats into bluffs. So I checked, he jammed, I snapped, he had 8s full. So maybe I looked a bit silly there and didn't know as much about him as I thought. But those dynamics are there, now we use them to our advantage. The 7-5 I checked down. He's going to have some kings and 8s in his range, so give up on that one. Ace 10 I'm going to bet. I have a straight draw and, backdoors as well, so pretty easy bet. Call here, bottom right table. We're going to go ahead and isolate. Top right table, we're going to call, getting 5.5 to 1. And top left table, we're going to go ahead and raise. Ace 10, obviously going to call here. We're in position with everything I just mentioned. With the isolation on the top left, I'm just going to go ahead and c-bet. Good flop for us, of course. And the ace deuce, I'm going to bet one. The king deuce, I'm going to bet once and be done with on the bottom right. Turn the straight here. There are definite pros to raising this, but I think calling in position is fine, just in case this guy's bluffing, and then we just call any river. King deuce, he now leads. I'm just going to fold. 10 on the river, pretty interesting. Now my straight is irrelevant and a queen beats me. Queen 10 was already beating me, of course. I think I just have to call here. He might have just been spazzing with the queen. I had queen 10. But, getting an okay price to chop. And just the way he's played it, he's been repping queen 10. And I blocked that, so... I guess we could bluff as well. I guess we could bluff jam. But just because he's played a bit funky, he might somehow show up with a queen. And snap me off, so I'm just going to go ahead and call there. And he actually had jack 8, so he check raised jack 8 on that flop and continued to bet it when the straight got there, and then bet to get me off the chop on the river. Interesting. It's never fun calling when you are best to get a chop, but when you're getting 3 to 1 and it makes no sense for him to have you beat that often, then it's okay. Bet my flush draw top left, he folds. I've got to say, I really like this mix of tables. It looks like we've got straddlers, a mix of good regs and fish and aggressive opponents, and people playing on their phone and androids, and yeah, it looks really good. Ace 4 suited. So I'm just going to go for a little squeeze on the button here. And 7-10 suited. I'm just going to fold this flop with no equity. So yeah, looking at the tables, just to show you. Bottom right table, 10 and L here. Galezanimiz M. This little icon, looks more like a battery than a phone, is him playing on a phone or Android, iOS, whatever. Get jammed on here by Sons of Anarchy. Massive jam. Pretty incorrect to do with any hand. But he probably just has ace, king, or jacks. So yeah, basically we use this phone thing to our advantage as a poker player. We are going to assume they are playing on the go. They are not 100% concentrating. They are probably a recreational, because let's face it, how many regs are just grinding on their phones? And yeah, we assume that they're just going to be a weaker player because of that. Ben Omaha, back to his old tricks, 3-betting a lot. We will just play our hands, play our position, play our dynamics, and just see what happens with him. He's got a note on me about the ace-2 suited, so we now need to use that to our advantage. King 3, I could maybe open the button there, but, Ben Omaha's 3-betting a lot. I'm God, calls a lot. King Jack suited, I open, get called from a small blind. Just going to go ahead and c-bet my draw. 8-4, we are not going to defend. Ace-5 off here is interesting. Ace-5 off here is interesting. I think we're going to go for an isolation. Don't know too much about this guy, but okay, it's 10 cents, 25 cents. That means $25 is the max amount you can buy him with, which is what we're doing, which is what the other regs are doing. Respect my name, we recognize, and I'm God. And he's not. So what does that mean? Well, he's probably a weaker player. He probably is just playing with all the money in his bankroll. We end up just getting called behind by Farron, who's also in that kind of boat. And I think I'm just going to check here again and then just basically, bet any river or just, snap call the queens and tens rivers. But, yeah, we end up just betting any snap folds, which is nice. Which is very nice. Well, it's not very nice, but we win the pot. I'd like to get called by worse, of course, but we gave him 2 chances of bluffing with hands that we now realise were very weak, and we tried to get value, but hey ho, we won with ace-5, and we won a fair few big blinds with it. I don't play 3-handed that often, although it does crop up in sessions like this, and I'm definitely happy with it. You know, short-handed is good, it is fun, it is more action-packed. Ben Omar again 3-betting from the small blind. 3-betting from the small blind. I think that's 4 now so far. He might be a VIP member, so the dynamics can be there as well. Obviously, when you're like a streamer or a video maker, people go after you because they know they will be seen. And it's kind of like, you know, they want to see that, they want to be involved in the video. Or he could just be really aggressive and really good, or really bad, we don't know. 3-4, I'm just going to check down, hope I win. He actually has a 7, which is fine. We could fold that flop, but he seems to be c-betting an awful lot. 7-9 suit, going to go for a 3-bet here. Ace-Queen, we're just going to go ahead and bet. We can definitely get called by worse. I am definitely fine c-betting hands like that. Interesting spot here where he's 4-bet, and I'm getting 3-1 with 7-9 suited. It is going to be a call. And flop is going to be a check fold. Not a spot you find yourself getting into that often. But this hand flops pretty well. We can obviously stack pretty hard on lots of boards. And our hand would just be very well hidden. But essentially he just gave us a price to call. So we did. 6-7 here. I bet flop he called. I think I'm just going to have to bet river. I don't expect him having that many hands I can call. Unless he wants to hero me. But he didn't bet the turn. So it looks like he's got 4s through to 8s as a holding. Interesting here, I get 4x bottom left table. I'm going to call and basically just try it. Actually, do I just jam here? Yeah, I just jam here. It's under 20 big blinds. Assuming he's just going to be stacking with like all sorts. So we're just going to ship it in. I think that's the easiest way to play it. Win the first run, which is nice. Oh, this table's filled up. And one of the guys only has 37-20, which looks great. So we chop that pot. I was thinking it was a 10-L table for a second. Okay, so we've instantly been 3-bet by the player who we assume is the fish. Do we need to go ahead and 4-bet this hand? Nope. We can just call in position. I'm going to always call this flop. We have 2 overs. We expect our pairs to be good when we make them. And we also have the ace of spades. Not a good turn card. Now it becomes a fold, unless he bets like €2, then we can float again. But when he bets that amount, we can go ahead and fold. Seven deuce and queen 8 will be folds. 3-8 here. I'm just going to lead. I assume this guy limped and I checked, so I'm just going to basically bet turn, bet flop, bet turn, and then go for a check call river. We could also bet check bet. Nothing wrong with that. Plans change because we made 2 pair. We expect our hand now to be good all of the time. Or at least pretty much all of the time, so we're going to go ahead and value bet. Essentially, the river will kind of try to induce some pot control. But now we're just looking at straight up value. Interesting pot developing here, because I had a queen and a 7. So Ben is really repping something. He plays very fast. Wow, he gets raised. What can you be raising with there? And he calls pretty quick. And yeah, he wins with the ace-5 versus the jack-6. Okay, so we have a mark. Just going to mark him as a recreational. King 10, I'm now going to start betting. Yeah, Ben was just like, this makes no sense. What are you raising? I'm going to call. And now this guy's limped raised. So yeah, this guy's just trying to go broke as fast as possible. Oh, Raitu's back. If anyone's seen the previous video, which I was talking about earlier, where we were, oh, hold on, this hand, 9 versus, well, okay, this hand makes sense-ish. Oh, that's annoying. We wanted the money to go to Arturka. But yeah, Raitu sat down and played us heads up in some 25-L games. And he basically just came and polished off his stack and then just left and then came back and polished off another stack. So he just 3-bets every hand and calls 4-bets with like 9 high, 4 high. He's just crazy. And yeah, here he is straight back at it. And we're going to call, obviously, because again, you know, he's essentially just been raised as such. So we're going to go ahead and call. And it's going to be very hard for us to fold this hand, basically. King, Queen, I bet. He calls. Looking at his stack size, I'm not too sure if a jam works. you know, if he's got a jack, it just never works. He might even close with a 7 or 5. But, yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. And he has a jack, sadly. But we hit the king. Make a full house on the turn. And he's now betting into us, which is lovely. And we basically just want to see any card under a 9. I'm going to call and then basically raise the river. And if he jams, it's going to be a horrible spot, but I think it's going to be a call. He actually just bets 50 cents, so, I mean, that's pretty random. I'm just going to go ahead and raise and just hope he snaps me with, like, an ace. Ace, queen, I 3-bet pre-flop. This guy's now check raised me on this flop. I do have a lot of good turn cards, but the sizing is just so big, so we're going to have to fold. And nice, we get paid off there. He probably just had ace high. I think it says, yeah, ace 5. Jacks, UTG, raise, 9s, raise as well. Didn't notice if this guy just blind posted or called, but looking at his stack, probably just called. Get a check flop and go for a check call. Basically just trying to induce. Interesting here, face a lead by Darius. I'm just going to go ahead and call. See what happens behind me. We are multi-way on a pretty scary flop. Terrible turn card for us there, and he checks pretty quick. He checks pretty quick. I think I'm just going to go ahead and opt to check behind. He checks river. I think I'm just going to check back. I think at most he's got like an 8. I don't think that's going to call. We could also just be setting ourselves up for a check raise. Or actually, am I? I'm going to try and get some thin value. I think an 8 might call. I think 9s and 10s call. So yeah, we're going to go for thin value. And yeah, we get it. It felt like a check at first, but I think once he leads, he's actually going to have 9s and 10s a fair bit, and they're going to pay me off every time. And he actually just had 8-9, so that's cool. I bet really small there as well. Like, you know, I made 7 big blinds or something, but 7 big blinds is a lot. You know, if you keep getting 7 big blinds where you're about to get 0, then you're going to be making some money. Sakumi sits down. He's on the phone as well. So we've got 2 fun players, hopefully, in this 50 NL game. Hopefully we can now start crushing. But Raitu is like, yeah. He is a recreational player of the highest degree. Going to go ahead and raise. I might just, you know, I'll make it 1. I mean, whatever. This guy's got like 8 big blinds, so I could just basically make it his stack size. But it really doesn't matter. As long as he just puts the money in the pot, then that's fine by me. He folds. Did not expect that. I am aware that he's in the big blind, but ace or suit will play fine versus him. Hopefully we can flop a set. So we're just going to go ahead and call the 6s. He's all in, we call. We were aware that this could happen, but yeah, again, we know that we're going to be ahead of his range, so we win the first. That's locked up. Always good to win the first one. Second one as well. Good game, buddy. He was defiant. He was defiant. Ben Omaha up to his old tricks. Check raising, playing super fast. Ace deuce, just going to be erasing the button. Raitu sitting out, which I don't like. I like it when he's in the game. Hopefully he hangs around for the rest of the video. Definitely makes these videos way more entertaining when you get into such spots. The video I talked about where I lost, it was a €170 pot to Ben Omaha at 50 NL, so it was a biggie. Maybe it is going to be classed as spazzy. Maybe it's going to be classed as bad. I'm not too sure what everyone thinks yet. But I'm still quite defiant that it was the correct line. Flop a set bottom right. I'm going to go for a check raise on this board. But he checks back pretty quick, so now we're just going to have to start betting. But yeah, even in that session, we were down like €5. You know, because we just crushed the other tables and, you know, started games, played fish, whatever. Okay, get raised here. I'm just going to go for the jam. I mean, jack, queen, queens, jacks. Only hands that beat me. I think he's going to be overplaying a flush sometimes, or maybe overplaying 3 of a kind queens. And I don't want to let that money escape from me. And yeah, he's just overplaying queen. Got to exploit and get the maximum in every situation. 9 deuce, we check. I'm going to go for the check fold. Don't really fancy leading here. I think this guy's just going to be playing a lot of pots. If he was like super passive and just, you know, limp folding all the time, then I probably would, but we just don't know that about him yet. So we'll just muck and give him the pot. Sorry about that. Make sure you get signed up to TonyBet as well, guys. 25% to 80% rate back paid weekly, and it's on basically a scheme of if you win or lose, it changes. But you're going to get a 2k deposit bonus, a 1k reload bonus, the TonyBet 15k monthly rake race, and the Poker VIP 77k rake race. Samaki says aces. Good job I folded my queen 4 suited. Super nice software. Available on Android and iOS. Lots of Poker VIPers play here. We always try and push, super soft sites and secret sites. I can, think about 5 or 6 little lads that are grinding here. 7-8 is a call. Pretty close, but a call is fine. Gonna go for a check call, second pair. I think he's gonna be betting this board a lot with his draws and his king, and like repping the king. So we can go for a check call and just fold the turn. Now it's an overcard, but probably would have called on an undercard. He checks pretty quick, so I assume he doesn't have a king. He might have a jack. So I'm just gonna try and get to showdown here, and yeah, check and win. Betting a very fast call. If Ben keeps betting, I'm not going to be happy because I'm going to assume he's got Sakami's crushed. That's nice. Good. Okay. We basically want the money to go to like the really bad players. And we're undecided on Ben. We are undecided. Okay, so we've got 2 weak players here. Well, 3. Well, we're not too sure on I'm God. So we're going to call, getting a good price with our 7-8. Flop a straight draw, but it's on a paired board. This could get interesting. Interesting that I'm God leads. I think we can just go ahead and call in position here. He might just be up to some no good. And if we hit, we might get paid. We have to be careful because he might be leading with a 6 or better. But, once I call, I expect to slow down with his bluffs. Because, I'm very likely to have him, crushed. He bets again. He's repping like a 6 or a strong hand. Not too sure I'm buying it. And if we do hit our 9 or 4, then we can get seriously paid. If he's got a6, he might snap us off. Really not too sure. He might ace highest here, but we are repping a 6. We are repping pretty strong, so we're going to bet it like a 6 as well. Might face a check raise or a snap, and I guess he's got a 6. Yeah, sadly. That's fine. We have to go ahead and bluff. He could have a similar hand to us. He could have 3-4. He could just have a 5 and be goofing around, or a pair that he goes ahead and folds, so I think we're definitely having to bet there. 4-5 suited against this guy. Here we go for the 3-bet. Get a quick call, get an ace-high flop, so we're just going to go ahead and bet. And this will be a one and done. He snaps, which I kind of expected with the way he's playing. Nice read, says Sakami's. I don't know if he's trolling me or saying good to God. Get a check and hope to hit a 4 or a 5 on the river, which we don't. Really don't think I'm going to get him to fold anything here. Small chance for winning versus 7-8 of diamonds. So we're just going to check and be done. Sadly though, it's going to just be a check fold. So 50 NL is the stake which is hurting us so far today. But we shall keep plodding onwards and upwards. Going to go for a 3-bet here. I pretty much automatically bet hands like this in position. And we block jacks and queens, ace-jack and ace-queen. So yeah, it's just a really nice hand to do it with. I prefer 3-betting and flatting jack-queen off. But we could definitely flat jack-queen suited versus him. Right-to, come on buddy, come in. He'll probably just min raise or something. He just likes to create massive pots in every hand he's in. So feel free. Ace-4 here, bottom right. I'm going to raise, I'm going to open 9-10 off on the cutoff. 10-10-5. We're just going to go ahead and bet. We know he likes to call a lot, but... Oh. I was going to say, but we can barrel lots of turn cards and improve. Didn't expect that to happen. Obviously, we're not going to call. Just going to discuss what he can be doing this with. He should not be doing this with anything. Essentially, if he's got a 10, he's just going to get all my bluffs to fold. If he's got like a pocket pair and he's just like, yeah, whatever. If he's got a better overpair, and beat whatever, then that's bad. And if he's got a 5, obviously not good as well. So yeah, I would basically just call him with my overpairs and my 10s basically here. But we're going to fold this one. King Queen, I'm God on the bottom left table, limped, so we isolated. Very standard play. We're unsure on what I'm God's doing. Is he a reg? How's he playing? I love the way he played that 6-7 suited, by the way, where he owned me. Basically, leading into people with trips, I love, because he knows lots of people are going to call, lots of people are going to have a piece. He then turned a flush draw with trips, and he continued to bet. I love building pots, great, getting called by worse. He then checks the river, and he's not checking the river because he's scared he's beat. He's checking the river because he thinks I'm going to be on a draw more often. Or maybe he's just pot controlling. But he had a clear plan all the way. Lead, get value, check, snap. And I think that's a great line to take. Check the turn back with a king-queen because it's just a pretty bad one. Everything gets there. And obviously on this river it's going to be a fold as well. Sevens versus ace-queen of hearts. What did ace-queen of hearts doing there? Let's keep Eugene in the game. And, never become, like, down or whatever. I've maybe not played a couple of hands correctly. I've maybe ran a bit bad in a couple of spots, whatever. Not even down a buy-in, just putting it into terms. We are not down €50 this session. We are playing hands well as we can in the moment. And you just learn and you adjust and you then just go ahead and use everything that, all the dynamics in your future lines. Going to go ahead and call you a king 8 suited. Never get deflated is what I'm saying. It is just all swings and roundabouts. Big pot there. King Queen versus Jack 4. Eugenies get straight back in the game. Do I isolate the 7-4 suited versus this guy? Yes. Queen 6 suited blind versus blind? Yes. Oh, Ben Omaha. I thought he might be getting tired. We've been limped raised. Okay, so I've explained this spot a lot. You should always call when you're facing almost a min raise or whatever it might be. Small raises, basically, because you're in position and you might just smash the flop. And then if you don't, you basically just be done with it. It's as simple as that. But you're getting the price to see the flop and you have position. We hit a pair, but on that board, just not good enough for us to continue. No backdoors or anything like that, so we're just out of there. We are just out of there. Limps, interesting. Raikou doesn't normally limp. We can fold the Jack 7, by the way. Ben Omaha's liable to squeeze. Yeah, I think that's probably a fold pre-flop. Queen 9, we 3-bet, and I'm going to go ahead and bet my queen. Our hand is strong enough to bet. We don't need to check here for like pot control. We can just go straight up value. We also have that backdoor flush draw. He calls, queen on the turn, kind of assuming I'm ahead now. Just less queens in the deck, and it's hard to flop sets and turn full houses. And he calls pretty quick. River, I'm actually going to bet really small. I just assume he's got like lots of 2 pairs. And if he jams, I will call. I won't love it, but basically I allow him to jam with my sizing, so that's where I would go ahead and call. And he snaps me off, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to see like 9s. 8s, yeah, fair. Same thing. Just he, again, knows I'm Poker VIP. He knows I'm making videos. He knows I can do some funky stuff. But at the same time, he also is just reading his hand on the board. I've 3-bet pre-flop. I've bet a queen high board. I've bet when the queen pairs. I am repping a pretty strong hand. So yeah, I don't want to just blast the river. Because I don't think he's just going to snap me off with 8s or 9s. I think he's going to want like a good price, like 6 or 7 to 1. So it means he always has to call. Maybe not like the most balanced line, but I don't play balanced. I play some spots balanced when it calls for it. But there, I'm happy to just go ahead and get the value and make as much money from him as possible. Go ahead and fold. We're going to wrap up the video as well. Sitting out everywhere. Next hand. Okay. This is a pretty interesting spot. We could actually 4-bet here. Go Dig could actually just be 3-betting basically to ISO Sakumis and just making a standard squeeze. Because we block Queens, Kings, Ace Queen, and Ace King, I think this 4-bet works really nice. We could just run into a hand, and we're going to fold obviously if he jams. But I think it's a nice spot for a cold 4-bet. Sadly though, he does jam. Yeah, fine. Actually, I just ran into something, and that's that. I am getting 2-1, which is interesting actually. But he did jam very quick. I did think about this, thinking if he jams versus this sizing, would this be a call? But I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's pretty close, because he can have 10s and jacks. I'd have to run... I really don't know what Goadam Dig jams here in 50NL. I'm not too sure if he's a 50NL reg. I've seen him at the lower stakes. I know he's a Poker VIP member. Versus Aces, Kings, and Queens, we're obviously buried. Versus Ace, King, and Ace, Queen, we were obviously buried. I think this is a fold versus him. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and mark. Nice hand. It's pretty close. Leave a comment there below if you guys would go ahead and call that. But anyway, that is the end of it. Shame the last hand finishes like that, but I think the way the games play, I think it was fine to do so. So yeah, I'm going to head out of here. And that was grinding TonyBet. Didn't go that well for us. 50NL was a bit of a nightmare. But I think we're only stuck a buy-in, and we ran well and crushed the other tables as well. So good luck and goodbye, and I'll see you for the next part.